My name is McClendon, and I became involved in SOLVE. My first appearance was a training May 24th of this year, and I got an email through some source. I'm connected with different nonprofit mental health groups, and Michael had gotten my email address from a list, I guess, from one of the other groups, NAMI or PWDF or something. But I got the email about them needing SOLVE speakers, about the program SOLVE, and I immediately jumped right on it. I was actually chasing Michael down by phone to try, because I knew I wanted to be involved in this program right away. So I got the emails probably around March or April, and got in for my first interview and got accepted, and started training May 24th. That's how I first found out about it, because of the email. I actually got a couple of them, and I was, like I said, I was literally chasing him down. My symptoms are severe OCD. That's my primary symptom. I have three diagnoses, sorry. And my second diagnosis is anxiety attacks, which is intercoupled with the OCD. That kind of goes back and back. And then my third diagnosis, the most least of my concerns, is depression, which is at a very minimum right now. But as you know, that ties into OCD and anxiety as well. They all kind of tie in together. Anybody that has any form of mental illness will tell you they battle with depression at some time or other. So earlier this year, I had a real bad experience. I've had OCD all my life, and I've had anxiety attacks for the better part of my life. I'm finding out more and more how far back the anxiety attacks go, because I had the least education about them, and the hardest to combat. The OCD I can remember at the various earliest age, and then of course my depression started probably about the same time the anxiety attacks did. And I've been hospitalized voluntarily and involuntarily, and with these conditions, and suicidal several times. And I had a really bad meltdown earlier this year in April over Easter weekend, and I had to be hospitalized at Langley Porter, and then I transferred from inpatient to the PHP, partial hospitalization program, which I've been in several of. And the folks there are just absolutely fantastic. I got out of there after the 6 weeks, and I continue my care there at Langley Porter. I think it's just an absolutely great facility. The providers there are excellent, so I get all my care there. I transferred from Stanford, where my psychiatrist retired. After seeing him for many years, he retired, and I felt it was time to make a change and get something closer to home. So I transferred from Stanford to UCSF. Now, to talk about SOLVE, I think things started picking up. That was a very low point in my life in April, and when I got involved in SOLVE, and starting May 24th, things had just escalated all the way to the top. I mean, I'm in a very minimal state with my symptoms right now. My medication has reduced from 12 medications to 3 or 4 medications. And I talk about this in all my presentations, that my medication has dropped drastically from 12 to just a couple, 3 or 4, and my symptoms have decreased. And I just get a fantastic thrill and enjoyment about participating in SOLVE and speaking about my story and telling my story. I think it's important to talk about it. It's important to share your story, and I think you can't really, that's a tough one, because without actually doing it, you know, like you can share your story with your therapist, but if anybody's ever been in this situation and going to therapy and had therapy and talked about your life and opened up to your therapist, that's what SOLVE is like, except it's much more intense, and it's very therapeutic. And you know, because you're just talking normally to your therapist one-on-one. When you're doing SOLVE, you're talking to a whole group of people, and every group of people represents a different facet of the community. Sometimes it might be psychiatric nursing, or it might be rehab counselors, or yesterday it was social workers at UCSF on my home turf. It might be some students, it might be some SRO tenant managers. It might be, it could be anything, but what you're doing is you're tailoring your story to each specific group, so you can better suit their need, better suit the relationship of what you had to say. And if anybody out there is struggling with public speaking, all I can say is all you have to do is do it once, or at least go through training, because you practice in training, and you'll get the feel for it, and you should just go gung-ho right into it. Everybody that's in my group that started with me and subsequently to that has had nothing but the best to say about it. So you just have to dive in, because it only gets better, and once you go through it, you can tell how much it really enriches your life. And like I said, nobody has said a negative thing. Everybody feels the same way I do. It's very therapeutic, and it's just a great thing to do.